Welcome to the first ever video on my channel. So this is the beginning of my first series on NukeX, and I will dive straight into what you came here for. So first and foremost, what is Nuke and what it is used for? Well, Nuke, or you may know it as NukeX, is a VFX composting software used by several major studios around the world for several things, such as creating TV shows, movies, commercials, and even many companies use it for their own in-house works. Some of you may have used another strong software known as the Adobe After Effects. They do have a lot of common uses, but each of them have their own unique features. With Nuke, you can do several things such as composting, 3D tracking, changing images into 3D videos, and whatever kind of VFX that comes into your mind. After seeing the video, I'm sure that you're eager to learn or understand how these things can be done and how you can do it yourself. One important thing you need to know is that Nuke is a node-based software. So if you have used softwares such as Unreal Engine, Substance Designer, Udemy, and many more, you would know how it works. With this system, you basically connect one node after the other and it will create the changes according to your will. This is a great way as it never completely changes your work. It just adds layers to it which can be manipulated or removed or even reverted back at whatever given time. So now we know what is Nuke. Let's go into understand how the software works, its navigation, what are the things that you need to do for the very first time you create your own project. So when you launch Nuke or NukeX for the very first time, this is how your screen will look like. And it might be a bit overwhelming to see so many stuff on the screen and such a complex layout, in fact a very boring layout. But as you progress through and learn more, you will realize how easy it is or how easy it can be to grasp this software. So firstly, I will try to go through all the panels that you can see on the screen so you can get a better understanding of navigation within the software. So currently where my mouse is, it is the node graph. Within the node graph, it is where you will be laying down all your nodes and connecting them with each other to make changes or add layers or different kind of VFX on your video files or image files. On the left, you can see is the toolbar. Over here, you will find several different kinds of tools and functions that you can use to quickly make any kind of changes or effects on your videos. And as we progress through the series, I will probably be going through tools and functions that are available within here. The next I would like to go through is the properties panel. Now you can see right now it is empty, but I will quickly bring in an image for you so I can show you what does the property panels exactly does. So after I double clicked on one of my nodes, I'm able to see all the properties of this one particular node. For imagine, I can see the format, which is the resolution of the image. In case it's a video file, I would be able to see the length of the video in frames. Quickly, I will add another node, and you can see now another tons of properties part of this merge node. Of course, I will go through what merge node is ahead in my series, but for timing, I'm just going to explain you what the properties panel does. And whatever changes you actually make within here, while even working on a project, this properties panel will fill up very quickly. If I keep adding new nodes to it, you can see how the properties panels is already filled and now you need to scroll down. There are two ways to manage the space. Either you can enter the number of panels that you want to be visible at a particular time. So imagine if I change this 10 to 2, it will only show me 2 panels irrespective of how many times I change it. So if I go back to this one, it gets rid of the previous one. In case I forgot to mention, in order to see properties of any of the nodes, you need to just select it and double click it. For imagine you don't want there to be only 2, you want to handle a lot of nodes. So I'll just go back to 10. But now you might need to clear it out. So either you can come here and just close this, or if you have a lot of nodes open and you don't want to go and close each of them one by one, you can simply click on this icon over here that will get rid of all the properties panel open. Next, I would come on the viewer. this is where you actually view your project and how does it look or any kind of changes that are happening over there. So if I click on this image file and if you press 1 on your keyboard, it will actually attach it to the first viewer and you can have as many viewers you want. And as you can see, my image file got loaded up there and it even changed the resolution of it. Now that you have a basic understanding of different panels and also how to navigate within the properties tab, I will go through about how you can navigate within the viewer and the node graph itself. So while you're in the node graph, your nodes won't be this tiny. While the project progresses, there will be tons and tons of nodes. So the one thing you can do is use your mouse scroller to zoom in and out of the node graph. In a situation where you don't have a mouse scroller, you can use the Alt button or the Option button while using your middle mouse button to zoom in and out. Simply drag your mouse while pressing Alt or Option while pressing the middle mouse button. While doing so, it's also very easy to get lost. You might be having tons of nodes and you might just get loose somewhere while the screen is blank and you're having a hard time to find where the nodes are. Simply press F key on your keyboard and it will take you to the viewer or the last selected node. So if I select rotor and I just go out away, and if I press F, it will zoom in or center me to the very node. When it comes to the viewer, working with such a small screen might not be that ideal. You might want to need to get a better look or make a very small, precise changes within your videos. So while you hover your mouse on the viewer place, you can press the space bar and it will maximize the screen for you. And at the same time, you can use your scroller to zoom in or out or press Alt button and middle mouse button to drag it and zoom in and out. With doing this, you are able to see the viewer in a bigger screen or view. One thing I forgot to mention that if you do have a scroller or even a middle mouse button, you can simply press it down and you can drag yourself around it. Now, in order to make the screen smaller or go back to the normal view again, you just press the spacebar again. This function is not just limited to the viewer. You can also bring your mouse and hover it over the node graph and press spacebar and it will maximize that as well. These might be needed some of the times when your node structure is super complex and you might want to take a better look at that, organize it, or get a better understanding of what you have laid it down. While working within the viewer, there are several different channels of an image or a video file which are known as RGBA. So RGBA stands for red, green, blue, and alpha. So while I was at university learning the software myself, I made mistakes a lot of times when I pressed a random key and my whole viewer would go black and I wouldn't know what key I pressed or how to go back. These some of the mistakes are pressing the very keys R, G, B, A. So if I press red, it just shows me the red channel. If I press blue, it just shows me the blue channel. If I press G, it just shows me the green channel. And if I press A, it shows me the alpha channel. Since it's an image file without alpha channel, it's completely black. And now in order to go back, simply press A back. And it's the same for the other keys as well. If I press R, in order to go back, I just simply need to press R back. An important thing while working with Nuke on NukeX is managing your workspace. So Nuke does come with a lot of default workspaces, or you can create your own custom ones. For imagine if you're handling more than two viewers. So you might want to see the very first scenario and the end scene simultaneously side by side. So you can create another viewer by coming to the road graph, pressing tab and typing viewer. So it has created viewer 1 and viewer 2. And you can see over here there's two tabs as well, Viewer 1 and Viewer 2. You can simply click on this and click on Split horizontally and drag this Viewer 2 to here. If in case this happens, you can right click on it and close the pane. And now you're able to see both Viewer 1 and Viewer 2 at the same time. And this way you can actually edit your entire workspace. You can bring your mouse over here. You can change the size of the properties panel. You can split this portion into horizontally if you wish to and drag the curve panel over here. And similarly, there are tons of different ways how you can lay it out. You can go to the workspace tab and change it to an animation mode, and it will give you the best workspace designed for animating. And since you have played so much with your workspace and you're not happy with it anymore, or it has gotten too messy and you want to go back to the normal one, you can simply click on the workspace again and click on reset workspace, and it goes back to the default view. Also, you can save your workspace that you have edited and reopen it in a later period of time. An important thing is the timeline itself. Now it might be a bit confusing timeline for people who are not from an animation background or any kind of VFX or video editing. So the timeline actually represents each frame of a video or a sequence that you have imported inside. You might have heard of a lot of terms such as a 30 FPS. Like while you're playing any games, it shows the frames per seconds on your screen, or the TV screens you have. They also have a limit of the frames that they can show you. So frames per second is actually the number of frames that a second can or a second does contain. So imagine if a video is shot on a 30 frames per second video camera. This point, which shows you 30 frames, actually completes 1 second. And you can navigate through your timeline by pressing the right or left arrow keys. While pressing right, and if I press left, it will just take me back. And this is a very handy tool when you are either tracking or making any kind of precise changes within your video or sequences. And all you need to do is simply press right and it will change it to a different frame for you. Since it is an image file, it doesn't change when I'm changing the frames, but if it's a video or sequence, you will notice these changes. Since now you know the basic navigation and different kinds of panels, I will show you how you can create a basic project. So one of the good practices are that when you first launch your project, you can simply click S on your keyboard and it will take you to project settings. And this should be the very first step you take right when opening a new composition. One of the things that you might need to do is set the FPS of the project. So you might be confused like, okay, I don't know what's my FPS of the project or the video that I'm using. Best or the easiest way is to simply go to the location of the video and right click on it, go down to the properties panel, then go to the details. While at the details, it easily gives you the resolution of the video, that is 920 into 1080p, and it also gives you the FPS of the video. So over here, my video is at 30 frames per second. So you can go back to Nuke and enter 30 frames. File format or the resolution of the video or the project you are working on, best to enter the desired size or the resolution. So since my video that I just showed you was 920 into 1080p, it's best that I select this before I get it into the project. The frame range usually changes itself when you import a video. For imagine if I import that very video in, you can see it automatically changed from 100 to 954. Now that you are done with setting up your properties panel, I will just go through the very basics of how you can import and export some of your files. So while you're in Viewer, you might want to import an image file or a video file. There are two ways where you can import it. One, in the node graph, you can simply open your browser and click a video or an image file and simply drag it and drop it. And you can see it is there. You can add multiple ones if you want, and then Nuke will just read it for you. Or you can simply click R on your keyboard and it will give you a pop-up where you can simply navigate within your storage and select the video you want. In a mini video tutorial, I will show you how to convert video files into sequences of PNG or JPEG files, because it is best to convert a video file into a image sequence because it is best to work with those files, and Nuke always doesn't work with a video file. In my coming videos, you will be able to learn different kind of skills within this software. For example, I will be covering different kinds of tracking in videos, after which I will be covering how to rotoscope in the videos, what are green screens, and how you can get rid of that and add your own video, and many more. Do comment down if you are looking for a particular skill, and I will try my best to cover that skill in my coming series. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.